Vanakkam, hello, welcome to Tamilize, learning the Tamil language. In these videos, we are learning how to write the letters of the Tamil language. So we already in the previous videos learned about vowels and the first 10 consonants, kanya, chanya, tana, tana, pama. So this we learned in the previous video. So in this video, we learn the remaining 8 consonants. So as you can see, there are total of 18 consonants in Tamil. You can also add a pulli above them to make them pure consonants, or without the pulli, they will be added with the vowel sound, shown with the vowel sound. So here we learn the remaining 8 consonants, which is somewhat easy. So the once again we learn 2 at a time. So let me split the screen. Okay. So the first two and now the first six we are going to learn are all called as idai inam in Tamil, right? So we call them as idai inam. So we had the hard consonants and we had the soft consonants, the nasalized counterparts of the hard consonants. The idai inam are in between them, right? So that's why they are called the in betweens or idai inam. So they are somewhat like hard consonants and somewhat like the nasalized consonants, and these are the special letters. So the trill, tap, fricatives, approximants. So all those are coming in the six letters here. The idayinam. So the first two letter of the idayinam is ya. So this is the semi vowel ya sound, or you add the pulli, that is the e sound, which you can represent using the English y sound. So that's yeah, or the e sound, right? And then we have the ir sound, the ra sound. Tamil has two ra sounds, but one is a trill, the other one is a tap. So this is a tap sound. So the this one can roll, right? So this is the idaina ra, we call that ra. So that's a r sound. The other one we learn at the very end. That's a hard consonant ra, right? Typically we can use a capital letter for that. So that comes ra. That can maximum double, but this one can roll. So you can say rrr, but you cannot say ir for this. That's tra. That becomes itra, ra, tra, right? So okay, we'll come to that later. So that's a ir sound. Yeah, ra. So we'll see how to write the ya sound. So the ya you can write in many ways. So you can start like a pa, right? That pa like letter, but we'll make it a bit lean, right? And then you add another pa or u shape like that, right? So that's basically like a claw. So that's your ya sound. So you can write like this, or you can write it in two strokes, or better you can write it in one stroke. So come down and make the curve, right? So that's a ya sound. People typically make this more curvy. So the first part can also be curvy, right? Sometimes people love to write this in a symmetric way, right? The Greek letter omega, right? This is basically like the W of the English. Sometimes people make it a bit curvy and symmetric. So like the omega of Greek, right? So Greek omega or the English W. So that is basically your yeah sound. So you can, again, I'll write it in a bigger form. So you write the pa shape and then add a curve to that. Or you can keep both of them as a curve shape, right? So again, the central line you can write all the way up, or you can put it stop in the middle, right? So these are all variants, right? Handwriting variants. So the letter itself is something like this. So this could be the actual shape of the letter, you can say. So that is the ya sound. And if you add a dot above that, that is the e sound, right? So for example, the consonants in Tamil, they're all called mei ezhuthu. So mei, right? So we write mei using y. So that e sound, right? Or ya, yanai, right? So we say yanai, right? Yadu. So that ya sound, right? So I'll write it bigger here. So the ya letter like this. See, when you're writing pa, this part should be the entire letter, right? So when you're writing pa, so that's the entire width is for pa, but ya comes within that. So for the pa you write for ya should be half of that, and then the curve comes. So keep a somewhat consistent width for the letters. So you can write the ya like this, or you can make both of the portions curvy. You can make both the portions curvy. You can keep the letters symmetric. That will give you a very aesthetic sense. In fact, this also gives a nice aesthetic sense, right? So that is your ya sound, or you add the dot that becomes the e sound, and then the ra sound, which is very similar to our long e. So if you remember from the vowels lesson, we write the long e, right? So e sound. So the ra is very similar to that, except it has a tail. Okay. Now, many people ignore the tail. So many people write the ra like this. This is because the vowel marker for the long a. Okay. So you write ik. Just a minute. I will use a different color so that it stands out. Right. So the vowel marker for the long a. So you have ik plus a. That we write like ka using this symbol. So this diacritic mark, this symbol which represents the a added in the consonant, this is called tunaikal in Tamil. So this symbol is called tunaikal. Now people often write the ra also like a bigger tunaikal, right? So for you I will show like car. So you write the Tamil word car, right? Should be like this technically. So the tunaikal is somewhat smaller, and the ra is somewhat bigger. It's tall, right? But people often write like this also, or people write like this. So that also they do, right? So that's actually wrong. Okay. So the best way, the correct way, the proper way of writing ra is with the tail, right? So let's come back to ra. So you write like this. Sorry, just a minute. Okay. So you write like the e, the long e, but give it a tail, and there are no dots. So we put the dots inside and outside for the long e. That is not coming for the r sound, right? So you should write the r like this. That's all. Or you can write like this. Okay. So you can give a sharp beak or not, no problem. That is not problem. So the beak is like a serif. So you may not have that. That's not a big problem. But writing like this or this, that will confuse, right? So don't write like this. Always write ra with the tail. Whether you are writing the pure consonant ra, ir, or ra, or some other diacritic form of ra, always add the tail. It's always a good practice to have the tail. In some of the Tamil fonts, you may see the ra coming without a tail. That is actually wrong. So people who designed the font, they have done that incorrectly. Okay, so that's not becoming standard. This is the proper way of writing ra. Okay, so ra is really simple. Our inverted L and then the horizontal line and a tail, right? So here I'm writing it in bigger shape. So you can do this in a single stroke with a nice sharp beak, or you can do this without the beak. Doesn't matter, but you should write ra like this, and you may see when I write it without the beak, it somewhat starting to look like the a, right? You remember the a vowel? You can write the a like this. So the difference is the circle. So if you put the circle, that is the a sound. That's a vowel sound. Without that, that is the r sound. R. So it's again a good practice to add the beak to that. Even a will you can write with the beak. So the difference is really that circle, right? So that is a, and this is r. Okay. So let's concentrate on the r sound. I'll write it bigger here. So you can write this in two strokes. So the inverted L and the vertical line with the tail. You can write this in one stroke. giving a nice sharp beak, or you can write this without the beak like this, or you can even make it curvy, no problem. So you can write like this. So that is your ra. So ya, ra, I, ir, right? So that is the first two of the idainum. Then we learn the next two of the idainum. So ya, ra. Next two is no, these are very frequent used sound in Tamil. Okay, so that is your la or il and va, yub. So this is basically the ill. That's also there in English. Quite often in many of the languages, the ill la sound, and this is also a very frequent sound. The ver sound, right? Iv ver sound, the labiodental ver. This is the ill, which is a retroflex ill. And again, Tamil has two more ill. So we'll see that next, right? So those are the next two letters. We'll come back to that. Now this is again very nice. So again, you can see they are very similar. So the striking difference is the curviness and the angles. So ill you write with the curve. So start with a small circle, go up, come down and go up, right? That is the ill shape. So la or ill, that's a very beautiful letter actually. So this is the la, the ill sound. So you start with a circle and make it a curve downwards and just quickly turn upwards. So circle U and inverted U and another U, right? So circle U and another U. So basically they are merged together, right? So that's your ill or la sound. Let me write it bigger here. So that is your ill or la sound. Again, people when they write this in handwriting form, they will do all sort of things like this, like that, and no, like this. So as you start reading Tamil, you'll be getting used to these variants. So these are all handwriting variants. So these are not standard forms. So this is a standard form. So start with a circle and go up and gives a nice curve and finish with a nice curve, right? So that is your la sound, or you add a dot, that's your ill sound. So let me write it really bigger. So this you can easily write in one stroke, the la, right? So circle and inverted curve and upward curve. So that is your la or ill, right? So circle and curve. So ill, la. And the va is very similar, except the bottom is a nice right angle. So you can write again. You can start from the middle. So draw with a circle and come down and give it a sharp turn and go up. So here you can see the difference between la and va, right? So this is the va, va sound, v sound. So again the circle and come down, keep it give it a sharp turn and go up. So this part is basically like pa, if you remember the letter pa. So the second half is basically like the pa sound, pa letter. First half is like la. So you can say like the ill, yuv is a combination of ill and pa, just in the shape, okay, not in the sound or any of the phonetic characteristics. So we va sound, so nice like that. And the va is also similar to the vowels oo and oo. So once again, you should take care to not confuse them. So you can see this va is basically like a woo with a vertical line. So like you write this woo, but add a vertical line that becomes va, right? So that is your va. And often people write there's this circle in the bottom also. So you can start with the circle in the bottom and go all the way up and then write like this. That okay, sharp turns, right? So you can write like this also. So you can this is the actual form. Okay, so you should start the circle somewhere in the middle or top and give the sharp turn below that and then come back up. But people, for aesthetic reasons, they can write like this. Often they can write like this also. So they will give a turn like this and do. So these are all some variants, right? So font variations. But you can know you will not be able to confuse them. Okay. So once again, I write in a bigger shape. So it's always better to stick to the standard form. So circle in the middle and come back down, sharp turn, and give a right angle. So that's your work. That's really very beautiful. Of course, I wrote that, but still I like that anyway. So that's your nice work. It's like a duck. If you write a series of words, I think they all starting to look like a bunch of ducks to me. You see the duck, right? So the duck, series of ducks, right? So the word is like a duck. So you write a bunch of word, they look like a series of a line of ducks, like beautiful. So let's write it in a much bigger way. So the circle in the middle, and then come all the way down and give it a sharp turn, like similar to the oo, but give it a vertical line that makes it word, right? Or you can sort of put it the like this also, or you can put it like this also. So these are all variants of ver, but let's stick to this form, which is nice and beautiful, looking like a duck. So that's your ver, right? So la, ver. So ya, ra, la, ver. So we have learned four of the six medial consonants or in between consonants. And then comes the very special letters of Tamil. So these remaining four letters are all very special for Tamil. So first one is the ra, right? So this is the most unique sound letter in Tamil. So this is a retroflex approximant ra, right? So you can also call this as That is where the Tamil comes. So we say Tamil. So this you really have to roll your, bend your tongue inwards. So you have to really roll and bend your tongue inwards, and the tip touches the back of the tongue, touches the palate, right, in the rolled form. So you have the palate, right? So that's your this your teeth and this your palate. So the tongue rolls, really rolls, and then the back touches the palate somewhat in the middle, and that will give you the sound. So I think the ill is quite familiar. So how you say ill, the tongue is touching somewhat like this. But for you should really bend the tongue backwards and touch So can you hear that? Ill, Tamil, not Tamil, Tamil, right? So that's the difference. So you should really learn this clearly, because the most unique sound for Tamil. And so if you are able to pronounce this, any Tamil person will be very happy, and they'll quickly become your friend, and they will do anything for you, because people love hearing this sound properly from others. But even many of the native Tamils themselves are not able to pronounce this letter, unfortunately. Anyway, so that is our sound. And then there is this sound, which is very similar to and ill, but coming in between, right? So sort of, so in between. So the tongue is bending not as much as but not also very less as ill. So that's somewhat in between. And this for ill, Tamil, the letter ill, the tongue also bends somewhat sideways, right? So it almost makes a pocket, right? So see, the tongue is like this. So for ill, it's simply bending, like this. But ill, it's also bending in the side. So you are really making a pocket out of your tongue, right? Okay, so saying all these things may baffle you, but a bit of practice you can definitely bring this pronunciation. So I will try to pronounce them for you. So la, la, ra, right? La, la, ra. So you can see, the notice the difference. La, very simple. La. The tongue just touches the tip of the palate. La. This la, la. So I'm bending my tongue a bit more, especially the lateral positions. La, la. Right. So la. And this I'm really rolling my tongue. Right. So ra, ra, la, la, ra, la, ra, ra. People often confuse these words, right? So I've seen many people using ra where they are supposed to use la, or using la where they are supposed to use ra. So we have this fruit param in Tamil, param, but many people will often say palam. Some people even say palam, right? So that's not quite correct. And people often use ra where they are supposed to use la, right? So like palli, okay, so palli, school, but people say palli, something like that, right? So they're all. So what happens is, we are losing the uniqueness of Tamil here. So we should somewhat, as a learner, you should take care of that. This is something that even often natives themselves might disappoint you. So you might be expecting a native to teach you these letters, the difference, the nuance in them, but they will not be able to do that, right? So it really um, unfortunate that happens. Anyway, so let's concentrate on writing the letters. So we have the sound, r sound, and there are a lot of letters in Tamil with r. So it's really handy to learn this letter, right? And the sound, l, l, and r. And so we'll start with the r sound. As you can see, this is very similar to the ma, right? So we learned the ma, pa, ma sound. So the is very similar to the ma. It has a hanging part, right? So it has this trunk-like hanging part. So you add that hanging part to ma, that becomes ra, right? So in I'm talking in terms of letter shape, nothing to do with sounds. Okay, not nothing, no phonetical connections. The shape only, right? So you write as you write the ma sound, ma letter, and then just don't stop here. Come all the way down, give it a sharp turn, and do this. Now this part is like the o. If you remember the o vowel, I say like the O represents an elephant, and this part is like the trunk of the elephant, right? So the tusk and trunk, yeah. So you just imagine an elephant, right? So the trunk of so tusk and trunk. So that is the R. So the tusk and trunk of the elephant added to the ma, right? So I'll do that once again. So the ma letter, you write the ma and then come down and give it a sharp turn here, and then put it a nice curve like the O, right? So the curve for the bottom half of O. So this half of O, right? I'm just comparing this, for you to remember the shapes. But again, once again, I emphasize, when you are learning, it's better to concentrate on that shape and that letter. So typically how you should learn is, you should take a note like this and you should be writing this letter some 10 times, saying that letter. So ra, so ra, ra, like that you should do, right? That is a much better way of learning that. Okay. So once again, we'll start over. So ra is very similar to the ma sound. So you write the ma and come down and give it a sharp turn and then do this, a curve, right? So like this ra, right? So this is the ra sound, and you add the pulli, that will give you the sound. So Tamil. So we write Tamil, right? So Tamil. When you are learning the ra, you concentrate on the tongue rolling and giving a stress on that letter. So you say Tamil. But as you progress, you can say that in a much more on the go way, Tamil. So people say Tamil, but that still that letter pronunciation is there. So you don't have to say Tamil like that every time. You can say Tamil, Tamiler, Tamiler, Tamil. So that you can say Tamil, not Tamil, Tamil. That's good enough, right? So ra. So ra is basically similar to the ma sound. So here I'm writing it in a slightly bigger shape. So once again, we can make use of the 4 lines. So any part that is going below this, try to contain that within that fourth line. That will give you a nice handwriting, a consistent handwriting. So right, so really concentrate on the shape. So here my pen is not giving this shape, so I have to really extend it, right? So this part, the trunk like part, you should really extend that. Some people write it with a small circle. That also you can do, right? So if you're not really able to emphasize that trunk part, you can do a small circle. So you can just give it a small turn and bring it down. Small turn, not very much. So don't overdo this, right? So small circle and you can bring it, or a sharp turn and bring it down. Okay, so let me try writing it much bigger. The r sound. So ra, or I can add the pulli to that, right? So write the ma and come to the bottom and give it a nice tusk and a trunk that gives you the beautiful ra of Tamil. My channel name is Ragan. That's basically this letter. So the word Ragan represents this letter ra. Like I am saying Ragaram, right? I can say Ragan. So that's my channel name also. So here I am branding my channel. Yeah, of course. Right. So that's your ra sound, and then the la sound. The la is very similar to the na. So there are three na I said, and we already saw one of the na, the monosuri na, which is coming with the ta. There's one more na we will be seeing, which comes with the ra. This we call the rendu suri na, right? We are going to learn that now. So you can see the la is very similar to the na, right? So except that the middle part is a line rather than a circle, right? That's the difference. So let me write that here. So the la, you should write like this and that. Okay. This part in the bubble markers, that is also the bubble marker for K. I'm just sharing, don't worry. We will learn the letters first and then concentrate on the similarities and differences and all of them. So the bubble marker for A, that is something like this. So you say K. So this part is like that, and then the bubble marker for A or the R. So you can come by combination of them like that, right? So you start with the circle somewhat in the bottom, right? And then an inverted U, and then like a inverted pa, and of course you can give the serif, so you can give the nice sharp beak here. Okay, so that gives you the la sound, pallam, like that, right? La. So that's the la sound. So I'm writing like that. It's a small circle, the inverted U, and then go up and give us a right angle. All right. So that's the la sound. So let me write it in a bigger way. La, right? So you can write this in two strokes also. You can write there and write the vertical line, or you can write this in one stroke. So I always recommend learning the letters to write in one stroke. Some people write the circle somewhat in the top or the middle. So that also you can do, right? That doesn't look nice, but people write like this also. But the actual proper way is to write in the bottom, come all the way, and then write like this, right? So that is our la. So here I will write it much bigger. So the circle from the bottom, the inverted U, and the inverted pa shape or the ra like shape. So that is your la, right? So once again, la. So I'm writing in a single stroke. So that is our sixth letter, L. So we have learned all the ideinam in between letters. So let's quickly recapitulate them. So the ya, r, l, v, r, l, right? So for your reference, I will put the English counterparts. So the ya, r, l, v. This is ya, r. So typically when we write, we use the z, right, to represent this letter. So we write zh or z, or you can use a diacritic form. So you can use this L and put a dash under that. Similarly, this is also L sound. So people write the L and put a dot below that to show the stress. La, 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 la. And this is more stressed. So ra, la, la, ra. So we use L for all of them, but they have nuanced pronunciations, which you should master, right? So once again, I write them here. So the ya, ra, la, va, ra, la, right? So much bigger. Ya, ra, la, va, ra, la. And saying this is like a tongue twister in Tamil. Yarala varala, people say yarala varala. So try saying that fast. Yarala varala. What are the ideinam? Yarala varala. What are the vallinam? Hard consonants. Kachada tapara, we say. So kachada tapara, kachada. கச்சட தப்பர வல்லினம். ஞனன ஞமன ஞ ஞ ந n, ma, na. This we are yet to learn. That's this also. We'll come to the last two letters remaining. So kachada tapara, nyananamana, vallinam, ida mellinam, yarala varala, idainam. Right? So we say like that. So it's a quick way of remembering them for grammatical reasons. Right. So let's learn the last two letters. Again, very special letters. See, there's a very beautiful organization of these letters. So the special letters are all kept at the end. Unique letters, unique sounds for Tamil, all kept at the end. Okay, so we come to that last letters, last two letters. So the special R, it's also R, but this is a hard consonant R. So this one, the R we learned, that's a medial in between consonant, right? So that is a tap. This is a trill, right? So this is a hard consonant. So you can see the plosive nature of this ra when it is doubled, particularly doubled, right? So in Tamil, for example, katra, right? So the word katra, katru. So here you can say how I am pronouncing this ra, katru. I'm not saying karu, karru. So I'm not saying karru. I'm saying katru. So you can see the plosive nature, the hard consonant nature of this ra sound. Whereas this ra, kar, kur, something like that, right? So kur, kurt. So you can see how I'm rolling my tongue for this kur, right? But I cannot do this It's tr. So katru, kurt. So you can see the difference here. So that's very important to know the difference between them. Right. So we have the hard consonant ra sound. Let me put the partition line. So ir or ra. So that's really a bit stressed. So it's a hard consonant R sound. Typically, people use capital R to represent this and small r to represent the in between R sound, right? So R, right? So and then finally, the last letter of the Tamil consonant or letters is the N sound, the in sound, the N. This is quite similar, 90% similar to the other N, Tannagaram N, right? So this is also N, Tannagaram, the na sound. This is na. Typically, this na comes in the initial positions of the word. This is used in the final position, and both of them come in the middle position, right? So we have such system here, but this is the counterpart of this ra. So what you can do, you can use these two words to master these two letters and the difference between this na and this na, right? So what you should do first is you should look at this letter katru, right? Take this letter katru. So practice that katru. So you see where your tongue is touching, right? Katru, somewhere in the between the palate and the teeth, right? So the tongue tip is touching there, katru, and it's a plosive sound. So your vocal cord is also vibrating, right? So katru, and now you try to pronounce that in a nasal way, right? So your vocal cord is not vibrating, your nasal cavity is vibrating. So you'll have in. This is a dental sound. Tha na, ra na, tha na, ra na. So tannagaram, rannagaram. So you can try mastering the letters based on that. Right. So let's concentrate on the writing part. This is like an inverted ya. Do you remember the ya letter? You wrote like this. This is like an inverted ya or the English yum with a tail, right? So the English yum with a tail, right? So you can write like this with a tail, right? Or you can imagine this as the inverted ya with a tail, right? So that's a ra sound. Uh, Keep them curvy, right? So don't write this with any sharp angles. Don't write like this. And that sometimes you can use for aesthetic reasons, but doesn't look nice, right? So keep them curvy. So like your McDonald's symbol logo, add a tail, right? Okay. So the r sound, katru, petru, katron, cetron, right? R sound, r, the hard consonant r, right? So the m like with a tail, right? So here I'll write it much bigger, m with a tail. That's r, right? Okay. So keep the tail sharp. Okay. so slanting. So that's ra. Sometimes people make the tail decorative. So ra, you can like this, you can write like this. So people do all sort of things. All the letters with the tail you can do that. So the letters like the, right, you can write like this, or you can write like this. Na, you can write like this. So you can give designs, right? Okay, so that's overkill, but anyway, people sometimes do, right? So if you want to be aesthetic, you can do that. Anyway, so we'll stick to the ra. So the ra, keep the tail slanting and sharp. So that's a ra sound. And the final letter, the 18th consonant of Tamil, and the last letter in Tamil phonology, that's the na sound, the ran nagaram, which comes with ra, and often comes at the end of the word, and also often comes in between the word. So the na sound, as you can see, so you already have learned the munusuri na, the tan nagaram, and the la, the special la sound. So you can see this is very close to them. So instead of this munusuri, we have only rendu suri, two, right? So rendu suri na, we can say that. And like the la, but with a suri circle in between, not a line, right? So that is the na. So you start with one circle and one more circle and come down, right? So you can make it sharp. Okay, so one circle, another circle, and make it sharp. See this once again. Okay, let me write this one more time and then we'll come to that point. So make it sharp. So like I said for ra, so ra should be like this, and we have the bubble marker symbol tunaikal ezhuthu like this. Similarly, the bubble marker symbol, uh, which is a suri kombu for I, right? The I added form. So ik plus I. Okay, I will teach you all of these vowel added forms in the next lesson, next video. So don't worry about that. That symbol is like this. So we write kai. So this symbol, this diacritic mark is very similar to the na, but the difference is this diacritic mark should be only half the line. So this is your line, right? So only half the way, right? So when I'm writing kai, the diacritic mark should only be half the height, and I should ka. That's how should I write kai. But na should be in the full height. That's one thing. Another difference is that the diacritic mark is very curvy. As you can see, it's curvy on all ends, but the na, you can make it sharp at this end, right? So that will give you the difference between na and ka, because in handwriting form, so for example, I'm writing punnagai, right? The Tamil word punnagai. So you see, in handwriting, so people write like this. So how do you differentiate, right? So the word itself will tell you, but anyway, if you have a sharp beak here, then you can easily differentiate that. And if the size is somewhat smaller, so if I write punnagai, then you can easily differentiate them. So the vowel marker for I and this ran nagaram, you can easily differentiate. So practice with this in mind. Okay, so keep this in mind when you are doing this na. So na is similar to na, tannagaram, the la, the special la, as well as the vowel marker for I. Okay, keep this in mind. Anyway, so here we'll focus on the na. So that's a simple letter. So one small circle and one big circle or full circle and come down. Sharp. Keep it sharp, right? So small circle, big circle, come down. So this is the Monosurina, this is the Rendusurina. Tannagaram, Rannagaram. So here I write it a bit bigger. So that is your na. And if you add a pulli, that becomes your in, right? So na and in. Here, let me write it much bigger. So na or in. And once again, write this in a single stroke, which will be much better. Will give you a nice fluency in handwriting, right? So that is our last two letters, ra, na. So let me give you a quick recapitulation of all the 18 letters, the consonants of Tamil, right? So we call them as mei ezhuthu. So there are 18 in number. This 18 is divided into 6 plus 6 plus 6. So the 6 hard consonants, 6 soft consonants, and 6 in-between consonants, right? So let's quickly see all of them. So here is your kha and your na or ing, and here is your sha, ich, nya, inch, ta, it, na, in, tha, it, na, in, pa, it, ma, im. So these are all hard consonants, soft consonants counterparts. And then we come to the in-betweens. So the first 5 hard consonants, soft consonants presented, and the ra na is kept for the very last, right? So we'll come to that. And we have the in-betweens, right? So the in-betweens are ya or e, ra, ir, la, il, va, iv, ra, r, la, l, ya, ra, la, va, ra, la. And then we have the final special hard consonant and counterpart, soft component counterpart, the ra, r, tr, katr, dr, r, right? And the na, in. So these are the 18 consonants up to this hard, soft, and this is also hard, soft, and these are all in betweens. So you should also learn them in this particular order, right? Ka, nya, cha, nya, tha, na, tha, na, pa, ma, ya, ra, la, va, ra, la, ra, na. The 18 consonants, and probably I should also show you the vowels and the consonants for the sake of completeness. So the vowels are உயிர் எழுத்துக்கள், the vowels. So there are 12 of them. So these are long and short, or typically we write short and long, right? The short, which is called kuril, and long, which is called nedil. So let me quickly show you them. A, a, I, E, U, U, E, E, I, O, O, out. And we also have one very special letter which is called the Aidam. Aidam, not Ayudam, Aidam, right? That is 3 dots in a triangular shape. Aidam. That's the ik sound. So that's aspirate, ik sound, right? Okay, that's quite easy. So I, u, I, o. So those are all the vowels. Then we have the consonants, மெய் எழுத்துக்கள், which are grouped into sixes of three sixes. Consonants. Okay, so forget my spelling mistake there. So there are 18 consonants put into 3 classes: hard, soft, and in between, right? So hard, soft, and in between. So ka, nya, cha, nya, ta, na, tha, na, pa, ma, ya, ra, la, va, ra, la, ra, na. So these are the 18 consonants and the 12 vowels. And as I already discussed, some of the similarities between them, right? So a are similar, u are similar, a are similar, o are similar. And among the consonants, ka, nya, cha, ta, na, so they're all starting very similar way. Ra also is starting in the similar way. And the na, nya, na, they all have this curvy part, right? And pa, ya, somewhat having this shape, same similar shape. La, va are somewhat similar. Ma and ra are somewhat similar. La and na are similar. and na and this na are similar, with the difference being the added circle. And ra is the inversion of ya, right? And this ra is very similar to the e, and this is also similar to the diacritic marks, which we will see later, right? So you learn the letters as it is, but often you look at the similar letters, you make a note of them, you write them somewhere. So similar letters, similar looking letters, right? There are similar sounding letters. So in the consonants, some of the soft consonants, right? So nya, nya, na, na, na. I should write that na first. Na, na. So they all have somewhat similar sounding letters, especially these three. So they're all nya. So in English we write them as nya and nya like this, and this we use n and put a dot or use a capital letter n, and this is the normal n and another n, so we can differentiate them. So similar sounding letters are there, and also the ra and the ra, right? So the in between ra and the hard consonant ra. So people call this as periya ra, chinna ra, big, small, right? So hard consonant they call big ra, this one small ra. So ra ra difference, and the la ra difference. So we have the la, we have the la, we have the ra. So la ra. So this na difference, right? So na na ra la ra la la ra ra ra. So people often confuse this between words. So where a word should have the ra, people may put ra. Where a word should have la, people will put la. So that might be confusing. Even natives make a lot of mistakes in this aspect. So you should try learning them. Often you can see that the soft consonants come along with their hard consonants. So that will be one clue for you. So I have discussed that in my video on consonants in detail. So here we are only focusing on the writing part. So but it also, they go hand in hand. So the shape and the sound go hand in hand. So you should learn them like that, right? So I hope you'll have a nice learning experience. Please feel free to message me or mail me, um, put comments in the YouTube if you have any questions, if you need any clarification. Please feel free to ask, right? So I hope you learn well. Thank you very much. Have a nice learning. Nandri, vanakkam.